regain that advantage they had in game 1. Thing I want to point out is that Maokai, 100% win rate in this series so far.
In 2 roles.
Yeah. Is this champion strong?
I don't know.
Experts say yes.
They would. But is it going to be recognized within the banning phase of this game?
Just ban out, pick it. There's your choices. There's your options. It's just interesting that it always ends up coming to second. Like, it's like you get first pick, which is whatever, then red side pick 2 champions, then blue side like, oh yeah, Maokai. We can just pick that.
Yeah.
You know, picking it. The fact it gets open at 2-3 is interesting to me. We'll see what the first pick comes through. We have pretty much the exact same bans as game 1.
And the same picks
Yeah,
so
the same
far.
Varus. You know what? You can be the change, Nongshim. You can take the Maokai on this rotation.
Be the change you want to see in the world.
Yeah.
And Dundun, maybe you're the man to do it. I think they'll lock Zeri. I think that's almost a guarantee.
Yeah, you know, they seem pretty content with that.
Yeah.
Zeri Maokai, pretty strong angle, and it's a flex. That's the thing. We saw it in the jungle role last game. It seemed pretty good.
Yeah.
You're not locked into anything. You can put it where you want.
Sylvie, be a tree.
Just lock it in. It doesn't have to be Sylvie. It could be Peter too. You know, you could put a mid for all I care. Just pick it up.
Make Maokai exist in your composition, and I think you'll be feeling pretty good, Nongshim.
Oh, they know. Their no is.
My goodness.
Oh,
this draft adaptation, absolutely extraordinary. Look at this.
Phenomenal. Phenomenal.
Imagine if they had have just like at the last second flexed to Azir.
I would have left.
I would have lost you. I would have lost. I might have also lost myself.
Nongshim come to the conclusion that they can just pick Maokai themselves, which is crazy. So,
I just never would have seen it. What an incredible turning point within the draft. Speaking of things that we couldn't have seen, Azir.
Wow. Really, really throwing the boat out with this one.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we'll see what they opt. Could just see...
Nautilus could come in, some targeted CC, but Aatrox existent, and he will be picked up here.
Yeah, so securing both the solo lanes, knowing that Nongshim can only answer one of them if they so choose. And I think they should, because I think you want to keep the flex alive.
Orianna, please.
From the Maokai. Orianna would be very potent. But it looks like they're just going to end up going for the Talia.
And I think with the fact that they're the team with the Maokai at the moment, the Talia doesn't feel quite as bad, but I still don't like it as much. But maybe that has something to do with Game 1, because at the very beginning of Game 1, I was like, oh, Talia, kind of like that. But then I saw it, and I was like, I don't like it as much anymore. Now, Fiesta is going to have a go at it, and of course, Call Me a lot more known for his Talia play than Fiesta is. But maybe just a different flavor of Talia is going to be the way this time around.
Yeah, and Cuz will lose our Sejuani, and to no surprise, Quantum Freaks will start banning top laners. Kasante, obviously, will leave that one open. It
really
was so
glad
impactful in the last game.
No, exactly. They have to get rid of it, because Dundun he just existed. He was just so there.
The hidden carry,
game.
You know, I feel like we as analysts, you know, between us and the space, didn't really highlight the impact Kasante made, just because we're not smart enough to recognize it.
No, we didn't understand it. And sometimes, if you don't understand it, you assume that it wasn't great, but oftentimes you're just not smart enough to really understand. Yeah. So there it is. Nautilus going to be taken away, and there is, once again, the Rakan for Peter. And this time, he doesn't have to deal with a Maokai.
I'm really fine with Peter and Rakan. I'm not sure there was any need to pick a fourth pick, though, because realistically, you already know it's Aatrox top lane. You could have picked top. You could have secured counter pick for Peter. Even if you're going to go Rakan anyway, I think not giving them that information would have been valuable. So despite a good start of the draft, I think it's a bit of a fumble here. And as a result, now Quantum Freaks know they can go Ashe with pretty much impunity. There's not that much threat from Rakan as a Varus Ashe lane, so a bit of a fumble there. The Rel comes through for Cuz, securing a bit of front line for themselves. And you know what? Dundun, you could have just picked this Jax on 4.
Yeah, I don't really see... And they could have kept the flex, actually.
Yep.
Because then they could have put it in the jungle if they wanted to, and then he could have picked something else. So, yeah, that was a whoopsie, I think. But still, I don't know whether Nongshim would have played any other composition.
And the thing is, that's fine though, because I feel like if you go Jax on 4, even if your intention is to go Rakan on 5, it doesn't give a free pass, because Ashe, like, knowing you're playing Ashe into Rakan gives you so much confidence.
Oh yeah.
You know you're not going to get challenged in lane, you know you can just harass and poke, so maybe Andal goes in a different direction if you kept support till the last pick, you know? Maybe he goes for a more defensive pick, and as a result you have an easier lane and can transition that into a really strong team fight, but you know, they've laid their bed. They'll have to lie in it, and now it's going to be a struggle in the bot lane 2v2, and it's really going to be about, can you disrupt that? We saw them in game 1 and 2, both games good at setting up plays around Jiwoo to get him fed. I feel like this one is going to be harder than those previous two, but the goal is going to be similar. Yeah,
I do think the team fights are going to be a little bit more straightforward for Nongshim, but I think the lane, like you say, is just going to be way worse. And it was already bad in game number 1, if we remember back. It was pretty good in game 2, but that game was kind of over in about 5 minutes. This time around, we have the archery bottom lane, and that should be able to put on a lot of pressure. We've seen it punished before. It does rely on getting some attention from the jungler, and we'll see whether Sylvie is going to be able to get around there and get stuff done in the early stage.